The news tonight. Governor Aiyedatiwa risks commitment to private tertiary education, approves funds for abandoned projects at Osrc. Residents urge government to intensify efforts towards reducing noise pollution. FCTA resolves to reinforce security at warehouses as envoy blames hunger for looting. And from the foreign scene, thousands of people at risk as US court set to criminalize homelessness. Thank you very much for joining us tonight on the news at 7 on Osrc television. I am Oyewumi Ayinubara. Ondo State's Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa says no efforts were spared in promoting education from the primary to tertiary level in the state. Governor Aiyedatiwa said his administration will release the capital grant of 1.2 billion naira in the 2024 budget to Olusegun Agagu University of Science and Technology, Osrc, or Kitapopa, for speedy completion of abandoned buildings and ongoing projects in the institution. At the second convocation ceremony of the institution in Okitapopa, the governor commended the grand vision of the founding fathers of the university and congratulated the graduates while offering automatic employment to the best graduates and students. Government House correspondent Wahab Ankole reports that Governor Aiyedatiwa also inaugurated the Central Engineering Workshop Complex of the institution.
Since year 2008, when the Olusegun Agagu University of Science and Technology was established, this is the second convocation ceremony as students, parents, guardians and stakeholders in the education sector, as well as the government of Ondo State, lived the dream. Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, who is also the visitor to the Citadel of Learning, led top government functionaries, royal fathers and political associates to the ceremony held at the University Auditorium, Okitipupa. For the 1,341 graduates of the institution, 63 graduated with first class, while 546 had second class in the upper division, just as 650 students graduated with second class in lower division, and 82 students had third class, as the event combined two sets of graduates from 2021 to 2023. The Pro-Chancellor of the institution, Professor Akimbo Adeshomoju, who congratulated Governor Aiyedatiwa on being part of the late Akeredolu's achievements, thanked him for his efforts at sustaining the construction of internal roads in the institution.
I wish to fervently appeal to Your Excellency to please use your good offices to see to the timely completion of the School of Science Building Complex, which is a state government project. The non-completion of this flagship project has continued to have serious negative impact on space utilization for teaching and research in the university.
The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Temi Ologunrisha, highlighted efforts to advance the institution in the last 2 years, including program expansion and increased students' enrollment, repositioning of the postgraduate school, accreditation and stable academic calendar, as well as ICT and improved funding for the university, among others.
Your Excellency, sir, within the constraints of financial resources, we have been able to put smiles on the faces of our staff and students. In the last 2 years, salaries are paid every 25th of the month. The area of staff earning percentages is gone and gone forever. We want to use this opportunity to appeal also to the governor to help us implement what was approved for the university in the 2024 budget.
Delivering the convocation lecture entitled Universities Industry Collaboration Through Circular and Blue Economy, Professor Charles Adetunji said universities can play a pivotal role in research and education, fostering innovation in sustainable product design, waste reduction and recycling processes. He noted that Nigeria, blessed with abundant aquatic resources, is yet to fully tap into the potential of her blue economy. The visitor to the institution and governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, said his administration will release the capital grant of 1.2 billion naira in the 2024 budget to the institution for speedy completion of abandoned buildings and ongoing projects in the institution.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this convocation is another milestone in the annals of the great institution and our dear Sunshine State. It is also a testament of our commitment to promptness and celebration of academic excellence. It goes without saying that nothing makes our dear state shine and always be in the forefront anywhere in the world than the special attention to the pursuit of quality education and bequeath of academic excellence to our people. It is on this note that I want to assure you all that our government will continue to do our best to support education development at all levels, both at the primary up to the tertiary institution, so that our sun shall continue to shine all over the world.
The governor commended the university management for keeping the flag flying and congratulated the graduates while saluting the vision of the founding fathers of the institution. Aiyedatiwa said the ceremony was a way to prepare the graduates for life, charging them to be resolute while contributing their quota to the development of the country.
I celebrate with our graduates as well as their parents and guardians and all those that have contributed their quota to ensure today's event is a dream come true. No doubt, the graduates have been equipped to excel in their various fields. I urge them to look to their laurels and boldly take their place in life.
The event also featured the inauguration of the Central Engineering Workshop Complex built by the institution from its internally generated revenue by Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. From Okitikupa, Wahab Bankole, Osrc News.
Accurate, the Ondo State capital is a bustling metropolis and without harms noise pollution around offices, school environments, even at residential areas. Many residents have had to deal with loud blasted music and disturbing sounds from power generators near their homes on a daily basis. The Ondo State government recently clamped down on nightclubs guilty of public disturbances, but many residents said the move only solved half of the problem, as places of worship in residential areas perpetrate same offences. Joy Pius reports that residents are calling on government to intensify regulations and keep noise pollution at bay in this state.
Sound is part of life, but when uncontrolled and unwanted, it becomes noise. Noise pollution takes place when there is either excessive amount of noise or an unpleasant sound that causes a temporary disruption in the natural balance of sounds. This menace has been on the increase due to population explosion, increase in vehicular movements, high industrial activities, and many others. Daily hustle and bustle in most parts of the country, including in Ondo State, expose residents to environmental hazards, particularly noise pollution. Markets, motor parks, recreational centers, and even worship centers are mostly responsible for contributing to the challenge. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, for educational, health facilities, and offices, the permissible ambient noise during the day is 55 decibels, while at night is 50 decibels, whereas residential and commercial areas 60 decibels a day and 55 at night. But according to residents, these regulations are not being upheld. They called on government to put in workable measures to reduce noise pollution in the state.
There are times when you need to indulge in the process of brainstorming, or you're walking through an account. You're working diligently on the account of a customer or companies, and you want to be able to think laterally, you want to be able to think logically as you're working. But when there's too much noise and too much pollution, you'll be unable to do that. And that affects not only you mentally, it can actually drain you physically. It's one of the reasons why people are actually stressed out, apart from the work that they do that makes them stressed. You can also be impacted through noise pollution negatively.
If someone is sick at that particular time, is taking his drug, what he needs at that particular time is for him to rest. If it is church, mosque, party, they will just be disturbing. But what I can say now is that government should make sure that they should place and try to reduce this thing, because it affects people's health a lot.
Something drastic has to be done, perhaps as a way of punishing those ones who are engaged in such compromise. Then at the same time revisit a kind of public awareness.
According to medical experts, noise can lead to hypertension, hearing loss, high stress level, and loss of sleep, and should be minimized.
The amount of the noise that we're talking about, it can have negative effect on the eardrum, and if that is sustained over a period of time, it can affect the ability of the individual to be able to pick sensory perceptions from sound over a period of time.
We should control our noise level, and that goes for the mosque that blares, the church. During crusade, you have a church or churches that blare theirs. That is not the right thing to be done. So noise level should be reduced to minimum.
A legal practitioner, Olusegun Akeredolu, highlighted what constitutes culpability in the offense of noise pollution and the consequences it attracts.
If you are making that level of noise above the permissible level at a particular time, then you are committing a crime. In industrial area, the number or the volume of noise that could be emitted is different from residential area. Residential area is different from school environment and hospital environment. Hospital and school environment especially, because the students' ability to comprehend other things, environment that is noisy, or that is the distraction of things like that. So there are things that are put into consideration.
The Director of Pollution Control and Sanitation Department, Ministry of Environment, Ondo State, Olumide Kinga, highlights efforts of government in bringing sanity to the environment by setting up punitive measures against violators.
If we are given a tip-off and we go for on-the-spot assessment, if we find out that those people are really creating the nuisance, we go to the level of removing their speakers that are hung on top of the building. We make sure we stop them from even using any electronic gadget during night vigils. We make them to reduce night vigils that are supposedly supposed to be carried out 4 times in a week to maybe once in 3 months. So those are the things that we do. But after exhausting all these available options, we will not mind to take any stubborn church or mosque or client to the law court.
Hearing plays vital role in communication. Therefore, residents must protect their sense of hearing by reducing noise level in the environment. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
President Bola Tinubu says Nigerian youth are worth every investment as they are educated, reliable and proactive. He argued that a few bad eggs cannot be yardsticks for gauging the capacity of the majority who, he said, are ready to be unleashed for the mutual benefit of both nations. Tinubu spoke when he and the Emir of the state of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, witnessed the signing of between both nations after closed-door talks at the presidential palace in Doha. The 7 agreements signed are of a cooperation agreement in the field of education, regulation of employment of workers with government of Qatar, establishment of a joint business council between Qatar Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, in addition to a cooperation agreement in the field of youth and sports. The other agreements are cooperation in the field of tourism and business events and a memorandum of understanding combating illicit trade in narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. The documents were signed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, and relevant officials in the government of the state of Qatar. President Bola Tinubu has assured global investors that his administration will remove all obstacles during the ease of doing business in Nigeria. The president gave the assurance at the Nigeria Qatar Business and Investment Forum held in Doha on Sunday. In a statement released by his media advisor Ajuri Ginari, President Tinubu urged genuine investors to report to him directly any official who obstructed progress or asked for a bribe in the course of any dealings in Nigeria. The president, who said Nigeria was ready for serious business pledge that his administration would deal with entrenched interests that have been undermining investors' confidence in the country's economy. He pledged to remove all bottlenecks standing in the way of profitable and legitimate enterprise. Following the invasion of the federal government food storage warehouse in Abuja, the FCT Police Command has arrested 15 suspects, including 2 who actively participated in the looting. A statement by the police public relations officer Josephine Ade said 26 bags of maize, 5 motorcycles and some vandalized aluminum roofings were recovered from the suspects. She stated that normalcy has since been restored to the environment while the situation has been brought under control. Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Federal Capital Territory, Dr. Maria Mahmood, has said that the administration will enforce security across government houses in the nation's capital, Abuja. This was contained in a statement by the Special Advisor on Media to the Minister, Austin Elenwe. The development follows the looting of the warehouse in Gaza, Tasha, belonging to the Agriculture and Rural Development Secretariat of the FCTA at Gaza in the Abuja Municipal Area Council. Mahmood, upon a visit to the warehouse, expressed disappointment with the incident, describing it as being beyond hunger but an act of criminality. The minister lamented the looting of food items, stating that the youth in the area had reportedly instigated the attack and also carted away machinery in the warehouse. In the meantime, a member of the United Nations Independent International Fact-Finding Mission for Sudan, Professor Joy Ezelo, has lamented that severe hunger and extreme poverty faced by many poor and vulnerable Nigerians are pushing people to criminal activities. Ezelo, a senior advocate of Nigeria and a law professor at the University of Nigeria, was reacting to the looting of the Abuja warehouse belonging to the Federal Capital Territory. According to Ezelo, the looting is an indication of a bad omen. She, however, reminded Nigerians that despite the current economic challenges and desperate times, stealing is still a crime, warning that anyone caught will be held accountable according to penal laws. You're still watching Osrc News at 7. After the break, we bring you more stories. Please stay with us.
Let's give it up for Giga Babata! A 358 pounds! Let's give it up for Destroyer!
What is your fear? Beneath the appearance of incredible infrastructure, standard facilities, and beautiful amenities, our estates at Adon Homes come affordable with great discounts and flexible payment plans. No stress, no hassles. Beat your fears and take that bold step today. Subscribe to own your property. Adron Homes.
Building cities, communities, and homes.
Glad to know you're still watching. And now you can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC. 67 suspected criminals have been arrested by operatives of the Amotekun Corps in Ondo State in the last 2 weeks. Commander of the Amotekun Corps in Ondo State, Adetunji Adeleye, while parading the suspects, said among the suspects are 3 jailbirds, with one of who escaped from detention in Benin City. OSRC Saeed Aribisala has more.
These 67 suspected criminals were arrested for various crimes ranging from kidnapping, illegal possession of firearms to armed robbery. Commander of Amotekun Corps, Adetunji Adeleye, said its operatives also arrested 3 jailbirds, as one of them escaped from Benin City, Edo State.
The criminals, 67 of them, were arrested within the last 2 weeks of a rounding up of the Operation Ember Months program. We have 3 of them that could be regarded as jailbirds, and one of the 3 actually escaped from Benin, according to him, where he was answering charges bordering on kidnapping and robbery. Another one of them, who claimed to be running away from his fellow kidnappers when he decided he's not joining them again, we were also able to arrest him in what he termed his last operation. He said it was going to be his last operation in kidnapping before we arrested him. So he told us he's a member of a 7-team kidnap group that had been terrorizing Isho, a Mureowo axis.
Adeleye emphasized that the Corps remained resolute to maintaining a peaceful environment in the state. The commander noted that a group of young men in their hundreds, claiming to be hunters with dogs in different nooks and crannies of the state, were returned to their base outside the state.
The major reason for parading them is to send signal to criminals that Ondo State cannot tolerate or accommodate them. And the government is resolute in ensuring the peace and stability of the state is not disturbed by them. So once you know that there is no way you engage in criminal activities and you won't be arrested, I want to advise them to go.
The suspects, according to the Corps, will soon be arraigned after the conclusion of investigations. Sahid Aribisala, OSRC News.
And now we move to the foreign scene. There have been efforts to criminalize people who live on the streets in the United States. Supreme Court judges are due to rule on whether a law that essentially makes being homeless a crime is constitutional. The ruling could affect the lives of more than 500,000 people. Kemisola Ojomo has details.
Background, so this is like Cain and Abel.
She calls herself Oman. She lives on a patch homeless people next to a busy street. The fees are harsh existence.
We're constantly shuffled around, like you don't get to rest, like you're constantly just trying to pay attention and be aware of when everything is going to get destroyed, stolen.
Support service providers for the homeless say people like Oman are suffering the consequences of decades of failed national policy.
We have a broken mental health system. We have a broken foster care system. We have some folks who ended up homeless because of an addiction. We have some folks who start substance misuse once they become homeless.
Now, possible changes to U.S. law could make life more difficult for homeless people. In 2013, the town of Grant, Oregon, passed an ordinance criminalizing any form of camping or staying overnight on public property. An appeals cut throughout the law, but the city took the case to the Supreme Court states. And urban areas, including Los Angeles County, which has a homeless population of more than 75,000, supports the camping ban. One LA County supervisor, St. Berger, said in a statement, if local governments are restricted from regulating and camp on public property, the government are left powerless to effectively address worsening homeless crisis.
Advocates for the homeless say criminalizing people who live on the streets simply won't work, especially in a city like Los Angeles.
You can't criminalize people. We don't have space to put them in a jail. It's not going to happen. You can give every person in these tents as many tickets as you want, but where are you going to put them? If you kick them out of here, they'll go set up a block later.
Homan, who creates art from found objects, says she has no idea where she will be living in a week, a year, or beyond.
I don't know what the answer is, but it is not persecuting the people that have already suffered so much.
Last year, more than 650,000 people in U.S. were homeless at some point in time, the highest number recorded since data began being collected nearly 2 decades ago. Kemisola Ojomu, Osrc News.
Still on the foreign scene, any new Gaza ceasefire deal with Israel will likely include the release of hundreds of Palestinians from Israeli jails. In the previous ceasefire in November, 240 men and women were released back to their families in the occupied West Bank. Has more.
It's been 3 months since Nohad Awad was released from an Israeli prison, but she says she still doesn't feel free.
We are prisoners released as part of a deal, so of course all eyes are on us. They told us we're under surveillance. Things haven't gone back to normal. I haven't left home since I was released. At checkpoints, I'm afraid I would get picked on.
Nohad was convicted of using scissors to try to stab shoppers at a market in West Jerusalem in 2015. Her 14-year-old cousin, Hadel, who was with her both girls, were shot by a passing soldier. Hadel was killed. One of Nohad's first stops after her release was her cousin's grave.
After being away for 8 years, there are new challenges to face because there have been so many changes. I'd like to pick up my education, lead a normal life, and to tackle these challenges head-on.
Nohad served 8 years of.
And with that, we conclude the news line, but before we go, a quick look at one of the top stories. We told you that Governor of Ondo State, Governor Aiyedatiwa, said his administration released the capital grant of 1.2 billion naira in the 2024 budget to the Olusegun Agadu University of Science and Technology, Osrc, for speedy completion of abandoned buildings and ongoing projects in the institution. And that's the news tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Good evening.